Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. After the recent love on my last video pertaining to being a CNA and the testing and all that jazz, I decided that I was going to do a video for you guys today, and that video is going to be talking about some of the reasons why I chose to be a CNA and why it is a rewarding career and why you should be a CNA as well if you have similar interests. I'm also going to be talking a bit about why it's not for everyone. You know, you hear all the time that it takes a special type of person to be a nurse, a CNA, work in the medical field in general, and I do agree with that statement, and I'm going to talk a little bit today about why I think that's true. So let's jump right into the video. The first things that I'm going to talk about today is just how impactful that being a CNA actually can be to your residents and their families. This is like one that means a whole lot to me, mostly just because, you know, when you think about being a CNA or when you hear the term CNA, you're a nurse's assistant or nursing assistant, and the term kind of has like a bad rap just because we're known as like the butt wipers and just kind of derogatory stuff like that, and we're not actually like initially thought about as like a very important part of the healthcare team. The fact of the matter is that a CNA is so important and detrimental to the care of the patient. If you're watching this and you are a CNA or you've been a CNA in the past, or maybe you've taken the class, then you can relate on this. CNAs do a whole lot more besides just like wiping butts or whatever you want to call it. We are a crucial part of the care team for these residents. We see them the most. We spend the most time with them. We get to talk to them. They become close with us. We become close with them. It's really hard not to, especially when you're like working in a nursing home or an assisted living. You see these people every day. You do work in their homes. It's very it takes a lot out of you. It's very exhausting. It's exhausting mentally, of course. It's exhausting physically. Like I said, if you've been a CNA before, you know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of physical labor that comes along with it. You're lifting residents, you're putting them to bed, you are helping them walk. Like, there's a lot of physical labor. When I was doing clinicals for my CNA class, I was sore. Like, every night when I came home, I was so sore just from like lifting the clients or the residents, putting them to bed, putting them in wheelchairs, helping them shower. We do so much more than just what's at the face of it. And that's like a really common misconception, and a lot of people don't realize that. If you've been a CNA, like I said for the millionth time, you know what I'm talking about. So that's like the main reason why I do what I do. In a sense, it's just because you have an opportunity, one of the biggest opportunities, to make a difference in these people's lives, especially in nursing home settings. It's a lot of end-of-life care. Like, what you're doing, what you're providing them is a whole lot of end-of-life care, comfort care. And that is super important to these people. Like, if you could just imagine, you know, not living at home, you're in kind of an odd space, you're no longer at home, you're sick, you know, you might not have much family. And so the workers, the CNAs, the med techs, all of those people who are at like the bottom of the healthcare team, those are the people that you're going to be spending most of your day with. And for us to have such an impact on these people, or have the opportunity to have such an impact, for me, that is honestly like all it takes for me. I've had clients or residents, you know, tell me, when are you, like, please come back. Like, you know, they'll ring their call light, you'll go check on them, and they just want to talk to you. You know, a lot of people get annoyed with that, which sometimes, like, if you're super busy, if it's a really busy night and you just feel like you don't have time for that. But, and that's the other thing that I'll get into later, is that like a lot of nursing homes and assisted livings are understaffed. And that's a huge problem. We don't have enough CNAs, and it probably has to do with the pay, and that's a whole nother issue. If a resident like hits their call bell and you walk in there and they just want to talk to you, if you have a second, like, that could literally make their night. It could make their week. And to me, like, I love that. Like, even if I'm super busy, I just want to take like a couple minutes just to be like, I hope you're having a good night, or like, you want a snack? Like, ask them how they're doing, ask them how their day was, like, tell them a story. I don't know. I just think getting getting the opportunity to just make them happy and make their day is what matters most to me. And it is so, so rewarding when you can go home at the end of the day and then you know you made someone's day better. Especially for the ones who do not have a lot of family, they don't have visitors. You're their support system, you're what they have. And just getting to come home at the end of the night and just thinking, I made that person have a good night, or like, I made them smile tonight, that's just so rewarding to me. I'm sorry that I just went on like a rant about that, but that's number one. You have the opportunity to just make a difference in the lives of your residents. Another reason why being a CNA is a good career choice is because, like I was saying earlier, there is a high demand for CNAs. One of the downsides is the pay. Depending on the state that you live in, the pay might not be tremendous, it might not be wonderful. That being said, there is a big demand for CNAs, so if you have your CNA certification, you can pretty much go anywhere and get a job with it, just because nursing homes and assisted livings and even hospitals sometimes are really short-staffed on CNAs. I would encourage you, if you are interested in pursuing a career in the healthcare field, you should definitely look into being a CNA, because it does give you just such a great base. Lets you in on the whole world of patient care. It really, really, really does build a foundation for that. So I would highly recommend that to anyone who is looking to move up in the healthcare field. This kind of goes into the first point that I was making about like having an opportunity to make a difference. Being a CNA and the job itself is just a super emotionally rewarding experience. So even though the position is super, super demanding, you'll get the opportunity to make people happy. You get to build relationships with people, your residents, your coworkers. It sort of becomes like a family in a sense. It's just super, super emotionally rewarding when you can make someone's day better, or when you just think about it, like you're doing all kinds of activities of daily living for these people, and if they didn't have you, how would they even be alive? Like, how would they be able to practice activities of daily living? Like, they wouldn't be able to. So just when you think about the impact that you are making, even when you're not trying to necessarily, it's very rewarding. Another reason why I became a CNA and why many people become CNAs is that they want to pursue a career in nursing. And for many, many, many nursing programs, they actually require you to have your CNA. They don't necessarily require you to work as a CNA, but they just require you to get the CNA certification. I myself, I really want to be a nurse. And so the reason I got my CNA was because I want to pursue nursing. And so for any of my nursing applications, they actually require me to have my CNA. I love being a CNA. And so I'm just going to pursue that while I'm in nursing school, just to help me make sure my patient care stays sharp. And that's a reason why a lot of people get their CNA for nursing school, or to just prepare for the nurse life in general. Another reason why people decide to be CNAs, or that being a CNA is a good career, is because the salaries can range from, you know, okay salaries to pretty good salaries. And like I was saying earlier, it really, really depends on where you live. Where I live right now, the facilities in my area literally pay like $9.50 an hour or something like that. And the biggest issue with that is, let's say I wanted to be a CNA, but I also have bills to pay, which is true. And I could, you know, work at Walmart for $12 an hour, or I could work as a CNA, which is a whole lot more emotionally and physically demanding, for $9.50 an hour. Like, which one am I going to choose? So in smaller cities like that, you're going to have to battle like the lower pay, but in bigger cities, the pay is definitely more. If I were to go to a city close by that's like a bigger city, they would probably be paying like $14 to $15 an hour. And then of course you would have the shift differential if you were working night shift or weekend shift. But like I was saying, if you live in a smaller city, the salary is likely to be less, which is just an unfortunate part of the job. And that's another reason why your heart has to be into it in order to like stick to it. Just because it is very demanding. It asks a lot of your body and of your, you know, mental stability. So it's not saying that the salary has so much to do with it, but obviously it is a part. Like, a lot of people are working in order to manage their living situations, and so that's just a battle that, you know, some CNAs in smaller cities and at smaller facilities deal with. I am an advocate for higher pay for CNAs 100%, because like I was saying earlier, we are such an important part of the care system. Yeah. petition for better pay. One last thing about the rewarding part of being a CNA is that you were kind of like opened up to a whole new world. What I mean by that is when you are taking care of a resident, you are most likely taking care of someone's loved one. And like I was saying earlier, you know, some people in the nursing homes and assisted livings do not have family, but a lot of them do have family. And so my mom just called and interrupted what I was saying, so I kind of forgot where I was going with that. But for the most part, I think I was just talking about how you're caring for someone's loved one, and that's always super, super important to keep in mind. And it sort of just like opens up a whole new world for you to realize that what if that were your loved one? Like, how would you want them to be treated? And it helps to sort of give better care to your loved ones and just opens up a whole new perspective on that. There are so many lessons to be learned as a CNA, and I keep talking about how rewarding the job is, and that's just because to me it means so much to me, and it's kind of hard to put it into words. But once you become a CNA and you start working in one of these facilities, you'll really start to understand what I'm talking about like how it's rewarding and the impact that you get to make on these people. If you're in a bigger city, the pay helps. Like I was saying, it is a very physically and emotionally demanding job, so that's really important to keep in mind. If you have like a bad back or anything like that, it may not be the job for you. There is a lot of lifting involved. Spoiler alert. It helps you to put on new perspective glasses and just think of your loved ones differently. And if you have to put your loved one in one of these facilities, like how would you want them treated? You always just want to treat the people that you take care of with the most respect and make sure you're still letting them, you know, have dignity, and you just want to be there for them when they need it, and you want to help them perform activities of daily living every day, still letting them keep their dignity. Another important lesson that you learn is that you really, really want to encourage independence. And that's super important for the person, because if you just go in there and let's say that they can wash their own hair, but you just do it for them anyways because that's quicker, sort of just takes away their dignity and can make them feel like they're just helpless. So even if you don't have that extra time, and yeah, it might take them longer to do it than yourself, just take that extra 2 or 3 minutes or 10 or 12 and let your resident wash their own hair just because they can. And I can assure you that that will make them feel better and dignified, and maybe they'll go to sleep with a smile on their face that night because they feel proud that they washed their own hair. So those are just some things to keep in mind, and I hope you guys like this new video. Comment down below if you would like to see any more CNA related videos, maybe some stories, if I can try to figure out how to tell them without violating HIPAA. But yeah, let me know if you guys like this video by giving it a thumbs up. Make sure that you're subscribed to my channel. Hit that notification bell so that you are notified every time I post a new video. Thanks guys, bye.